Two things are true. That was one of the most thrilling college football games I've ever watched on television, and I hated every moment of it because we lost. Next, Locked On Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, your team every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel, FanDuel.com, the official sportsbook of the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. More on them in a moment. He is Clint. I am Daniel. Thank you to the everydayers. Thank you to everyone who makes this podcast your first listen of the day, even though it couldn't possibly be your first listen of the day today because, well, it's damn near Sunday at the time of recording. So maybe it is. Maybe it is your first listen
Think of it that
of
way.
Sunday. Listen, let's just start off here.
Okay.
I feel like Alabama fans that are here watching,
they're
feel like we have a bit of a rapport at this point.
We do,
like,
now.
Don't we? We have a long history. You beat us a lot of times. In fact, a lot of times. We beat you in the national championship game that time. You remember that?
No, it doesn't count.
Well, somebody was hurt, so it doesn't count.
No, somebody was
hurt. We have a bit of a rapport here.
And
so I just want to start out with a little honesty. I know that the college football way, I know that the YouTube comment section way, is to puff out one's chest and talk a big talk.
Yep.
Right? That's the way. You step on people while they're down. You laugh at people's misfortune. You like whatever. That's fine. That's fine. I think we can be honest with each other, though.
Okay.
You can't feel great about that, right?
No.
Like Alabama.
No.
I know you won, and congratulations on a huge win.
Yeah.
You can't feel great about that. Georgia was getting boat raced.
Throttled.
I'm talking about housed in a way that I have not seen Georgia get housed in, since 2016 was the last time I saw a Georgia team look like that. I had a whole script planned for what this show was going to be. I had talking points. I was going to systematically tear down the entire Georgia football team limb from limb. But
we call it an
here
autopsy. Daniel was about to do an autopsy on the death of the season and the death of the program.
We were going to get deep in there.
Yeah.
But dang it, here we are, Clint. And Georgia played the worst football game I've seen them play in a long time. Carson Beck played unequivocally the worst football game I've seen a Georgia quarterback play in a long, long time. He was abysmal in this game. And Georgia had a chance to win the game at the end. Like a legitimate chance.
Winning the game with 2.5 minutes left.
A legitimate chance to win the game. It was the worst start you could ever imagine. And then Alabama did everything they could to defecate on the bed and just waste it away. And somehow was able to maintain on a big catch from Ryan Williams down the sideline for a touchdown and a late interception by Carson Beck, his third of the day. So there's a lot to unpack, Clint.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? We got some good to talk about. Yeah. We got some bad to talk about. Yeah. We can start wherever you want.
I want to start here, and it's the thing that confuses me the most. And I'm even going to take a little, this is the overreaction time. Okay. So I'm even going to take a little, I'm going to come at you a little, Daniel, for talking about Carson Beck, the worst QB performance. I saw Fromm have worse games than this, and I'm not joking. Okay. This man went dimed balls all night. Oscar Delp, congratulations. Welcome to my list of people I've stopped remembering.
He was on it. I had a whole script planned. He was on it. He was going to make an appearance.
Lucky, you and I, we can be friends. We can be friends.
Austin Lucky made an incredible catch on that 2-point conversion.
My gosh, what an incredible catch. That was a beautiful catch.
Yeah.
put there, right? Only where he could catch it. Lost in luck again with the defender. But everybody wants to talk about back shoulder or behind the receiver. That throw on the sideline that Delp went ahead and dropped. It was because the safety was over the top on that. If he puts it out in front of Delp, he's going to.
What if he puts it right on his body?
He did put it right on.
No,
he put it right on. He put it right
whatever.
on.
Doesn't matter.
Arian Smith drops a dime bucket to begin the game. Arian Smith, I know that you
had an incredible second half. That's the thing. My script is blown.
But this is okay. So here's my point. Here's you actually just. Why are we singling out Carson Beck? Not everybody saying bum, horrid, get him out of here. People calling for Gunnar Stockton to come in the second half.
Shut up, Athens, Steve. Nobody's calling for Gunnar Stockton. Nobody's calling for Gunnar Stockton.
Carson Beck was the reason we came back in this game after drops after drops after drops. And I'm not saying every throw he had was on the money. That's not what I'm saying. Far from it. He was off. He was B- at best at some of these placements. Okay.
I mean, you can blame that first interception or that was it his first or was this
his first? That first
you can blame that on Arian Smith. You blame 100%. Okay, so you blame that one on Arian Smith. He threw 2 really bad interceptions. One of them when all he had to do was not throw it, and we were gonna find a way into that end zone, Clint. Let me ask you this: was there any chance we weren't getting in that end zone?
We were getting that end zone.
All we had to do was not throw it to the other team.
Correct.
That's all we had to do was not throw it to the other team. And the DB just stared him in the face as he spun the ball right to him.
I think Carson Beck's
made some really bad throws.
Biggest problem is when his receivers aren't helping him out. His vibe, the vibe check of Carson Beck tanks. Now, that's not really what you want to see out of your quarterback. You want to see his vibe carry
leadership.
Yeah, again, I'm with you right now. I think I saw in the second half he started getting the mojo going. I saw it on the sidelines, Daniel. I saw him.
Yeah, you could tell he got his confidence back. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
and that's the thing. And we'll get to it when we get into the second segment. That's fine, but Carson Beck did not play well. He played really poorly for Carson Beck. Am I unfair to say that, Clint?
Real poorly.
Okay. For Carson Beck, he played like a dumpster. Like he played like absolute garbage.
Yep.
We got the garbage can version of Carson Beck tonight.
Oscar
and we still almost won in Tuscaloosa. Like I'm so confused by even what I just watched. We're going to talk about a lot of the negative stuff that we saw. We're going to talk about some of the positive stuff that we saw. And I want to come back in the second segment and really dive into what does the rest of the season look like? Like, where does this put us, Georgia fans, in a big picture perspective? But first, Clint wants to let you know about these.
And these are, in fact, FanDuel. FanDuel's fantastic. Daniel, I love FanDuel, the official sports book of Locked On Bulldogs and Locked On Podcasts everywhere. Incredible opportunity right now. Just in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. And right now, you can start with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. You go on there right now. You can get anything that you want, any lines. You could have gotten lines on this game all the way up until you could have gotten line games, could have been in the middle games, could have been point spreads, anything whatsoever.
Faded us and bet the over and cashed. That would have been an easy cash.
We didn't cash at all on that one because that went out the window in the first quarter.
Yeah,
but you could have gone out there right now. NFL kickoff is happening everywhere. That's still going on. The NFL's live and action as well as college. So right now, go to FanDuel.com. $200 in bonus bets when you place your first $5 bet. FanDuel.com. Get over there right now. Daniel, you have you want to go through what it was and how to go ahead and look at the season ongoing, because this game, it wasn't one of the most thrilling games I've ever witnessed in my entire life on the college football stage. I told everybody I was watching it with, I've never seen a game like this before. The closest that came to this was Texas USC national championship, where it was just haymaker after haymaker after haymaker.
It's a week 5 regular season game. You just said a national championship. Like,
that's the difference.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
the big question for me as a Georgia fan, which again, I get it. There's a lot of Alabama fans here listening. Again, please just
Glad you're here.
Be honest with yourself in the comment section. You know that you didn't. You had a whole script planned for the comment section too. And see, I had to change my script for this show. I was going to get on there and trash my team. You should change your script a little bit now in the comments.
Milroe looked pedestrian in the second half. Don't lie to me.
Well, absolutely, he looked pedestrian because he was pedestrian. He couldn't gain a first down.
It's okay to say you are the best team in the nation right now. I just said.
Georgia's unequivocally not as good as Alabama.
There you go.
There's an overreaction.
You can't feel good. You're threatened.
Yeah. So, for Georgia, the nice thing is that everything is still in front of you as a Georgia fan, right? Like it's this Georgia team, everything's still in front of you. The SEC is still in front of you. The college football playoff is still in front of you. Now, to make it to Atlanta, you probably have to win every game on the schedule from here on out, right? Correct. Like to make it to Atlanta, you probably need to go and rattle off every win on the schedule and finish 11-1. And then you most likely would match up again against Alabama, who maybe Alabama takes a loss to Tennessee, and they're 11-1 as well. But that would be your two teams, that are representing the conference. Everything's still in front of this Georgia team. The college football playoff is still in front of you. No, they're not eliminated from anything.
No.
But I was ready. Like at halftime, Clint, all of that, what I just said, was still true.
But you didn't want it to be true.
But I was ready to get on here and say, but this team that I just watched, they ain't winning anything, Clint, because that team that I saw come out in the first half, that team ain't winning anything this year. Like nothing this year. Because they're just they're not good enough to. That team looked bad. In every phase of the game, they looked bad. And so, yes, Georgia still has everything to play for. Yes, Georgia still has all the aspirations that they had coming into this game. And in fact, I mean, you and I both predicted Georgia would lose this game.
Yep.
We did not predict that we would come out and look like that, though.
No.
And so I feel like I've gone on this roller coaster of emotions because then the second half and the comeback, and you look at the final score and you look at what it is, and Kirk Herbstreit, as the game is ending, is saying, this is not the last time we're going to see these two teams playing matched up against each other. It definitely had the feel at the end of the game like this is Ali Frazier, like these are two heavyweights. Oh. And like you said, it's just haymaker after haymaker, and Alabama got the last punch tonight, and they won by one score at home in that game. But these are the two best teams, and we'll play it again, and we'll see what happens.
And when I watch college football, I watched the week of college football that was. There's no one on the planet can refute these are the two best teams in college football right now. Stop.
I mean, a bunch of teams that haven't played nobody are going to be saying it's them, Clint.
Whatever.
Tennessee.
Yeah, whatever. Shut up, Tennessee. Just shut up.
I don't know how to feel because which Georgia team is it? Like, are these the two best teams in college football? Because Alabama technically had a really good half and a really bad half too, but it didn't feel like that watching it. Didn't, like, objectively speaking, it did not feel like the Georgia feel, like, of absolutely coming out and not being able, like, shouldn't have even been in this conversation with Alabama is what it looked like at the beginning of this game.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you, Clint, I guess, is this. There's got to be some truth to that first half, doesn't there? It can't all be a lie. There has to be some truth in there.
Here's the truth. And nobody wants to say this because it sounds sacrilegious, what I'm about to say.
Okay.
But the man said it himself. So I'm just repeating what he said. And this isn't coach speak. Normally, Kerbanese is coach. This is true. He said that was one of the best games We weren't prepared the first half, and that's on me. I firmly, and on the defense, Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart were running to catch their tails in the first half defensively. Kalen DeBoer outscripted us, and that's painful for me to say.
Yeah. And the script lasted freaking 4 drives, Clint. It was not a 10-player.
It was quick.
It was a 30-player.
I think there was like 6 plays, 5 plays, 5 plays, and 3 plays or something like that. And so the third drive was very, very short. Milroe
4 in a row, 4 touchdowns in a row.
I understand. Kirby Smart did not anticipate that was their game plan. Glenn Schumann did not on defense at minimum. And he put us behind the 8 ball. Now that sounds sacrilegious, doesn't it? That the best coach in college football put us behind the 8 ball.
I mean, but what you're saying is worth putting a fine point on here. Kirby Smart got outcoached in this game.
And that's painful to say.
But it's important to be honest about these things.
But it's true.
So all of you that want Gunnar Stockton to start. Also, Kirby Smart got outcoached in this game. So are we ready to move on to the backup? Like we're going to move on to the backup coach?
We should get rid of him too.
We're going to move. Let's just move on to the backup coach. Yeah. We could still maybe get Dabo.
The best coaching in this game, and nobody ever rip me to shreds. Go for it. But Mike Bobo had a better game plan this game than any other coach on our staff this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than Glenn Schumann. Mike Bobo didn't drop a touchdown to Arian Smith on the very first drive of the game. He, in fact, scripted a
beautiful play call.
Beautiful call. That is a tough thing to say.
It is,
but I think it's absolutely true, Clint. Like this game plan was so bad, and so there's some truth in there. And if you're a Georgia fan, that's some truth that you can maybe live with because you feel like, okay, well, I can trust Kirby Smart. He's going to get that cleaned up.
Yep.
He's going to learn. Kalen DeBoer came out and did some things that we have not seen. This Alabama team did some things. You even heard, Kirby talking about it to Holly Rowe in the first quarter timeout. He said, they're throwing out of empty. They haven't done that all year. Like we're trying to
Kalen DeBoer bucked trends in totality against Kirby Smart. He came in with
that's what good coaches do.
Yes.
And we're supposed to have the best one in college football. But okay. So that's a truth from the first half that I can live with.
Okay.
I think there's another truth from the first half. This is the second game in a row that we've watched this Georgia defense get pushed around. It was the second half primarily, but it was both halves to a certain extent. The second half primarily against Kentucky. Now, Kentucky couldn't convert in the red zone. They couldn't keep drives going. They couldn't sustain drives because Kentucky didn't have the players. They don't have that's fine.
Don't got the dudes.
But they pushed us around up front. You saw that Sumo Carnbay running back run all over us. Well, that's what Jalen Milroe did tonight. That's what the offensive line for Alabama did tonight. Georgia was getting pushed around in this game. The scheme was awful.
But
the tackling was worse, Clint. Yeah. The tackling in the secondary was bad. The tackling from the linebackers was bad. The tackling at the line of scrimmage was bad. Defensive linemen were getting blown off the ball.
That's right.
They fixed it in the second half. They made adjustments in the second half. They fixed the mentality in the second half. But I'm here to tell you, if you think this Georgia defense is what we saw in that second half and none of what we saw in that first half, you are sadly mistaken because there's some first half Georgia in there. It's real. And that's a problem moving forward.
And we can clean it up. It can be coached and cleaned up. All of that, the confidence meter goes high. You can do that. That's true. But it needs to be addressed. And without being addressed, it's going to be a long...
It does need to be addressed. All right, we're coming back in segment 3. We've got more to discuss from this game, but first, these.
And these are, in fact, game time. Game time's fantastic. Daniel, I love going to games. If you were in the stadium and still standing after tonight's game, good on you.
We salute you.
We salute you. But Daniel, I love going to any sort of sporting event. We love going to Georgia basketball games. We love going to comedy shows. We love going to concerts, taking people with us. It's such a fun time. It's so fantastic. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. It filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of ticket offers. Daniel and I always go, whenever we go to the Georgia games, we always go to Game Time every single time because it's the quickest, easiest, fastest. And there has super deals right now. All the tiers of all the deals right now, they filter it for you and give you the best ones possible. You can have curated deals and find the best price on great seats, the super deal, or you can look at your view from your seat before you purchase tickets. What is better than that? Seat views, lowest price guaranteed. Go over there right now. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Yeah, Daniel, it can't be cleaned up. The defense, there is that bit of first quarter or first half against Kentucky, first quarter against Alabama. It's there. It's got to get cleaned up. I do think it comes with playing with confidence and playing with knowledge. These guys are so stupid talented and speedy, Daniel. I'm going to use the KJ Bolden analogy. KJ Bolden is better than Dan Jackson. Dan Jackson's in the game because Dan Jackson knows the defense better than anybody else. It just so happens when Dan tries to sprint at full speed, his full speed's not better than most full speeds on the field. I hate saying that, but it's true. Dan's in there because he knows the system. When these players don't know the system, when they're thinking and they're not reacting, it gets problematic for the defense, and you play soft and you play on your heels and you have to read and react and you're not flying. You're not being confident. This is on Kirby. This is on Glenn to fix. The talent is there. The guys are there, but the softness comes from not knowing, being unsure and insecure in placement. And it has to be done, Daniel. Let's talk about this offense really quick.
Okay.
A unit that responded so well. And I'm talking so well from last week.
I mean,
the offensive line, Daniel.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. I have lots of gripes. I can gripe about Aaron Smith. I can gripe about Oscar Delp. I can gripe even about the fact that Cass Jones and not Frazier and not Robinson was. I could, but I'm not going to. That offensive line played a hell of a game, Daniel.
Especially in the second half. Clean pockets all around for Carson Beck. I thought the offensive line really excelled. Like I was commenting on it just watching the game. Like, even on plays where there was nobody open downfield and Carson had to scramble, gain a couple yards, go down. I thought the offensive line gave him time. They protected him. Alabama came out with a lot of pressure in the first half. And some of it got home. A lot of it got home. But Carson Beck was generally pretty clean all night. Had to come out quick with a lot of balls, what led to a couple of the interceptions, what led to some of the poor play. And again, credit Alabama's plan, credit their scheme, credit their game plan coming out. But the adjustments that were made and the play of the offensive line, particularly in the second half, was really good. I thought Georgia ran the ball pretty well. On the touchdown that we scored in the first half, we ran it down their throat. It was like a freaking death march.
Yes, it was.
We ran it straight down their throat with ETN right behind the offensive line. And then we came out the next series like throwing again.
Yeah.
I thought we got away from it a little. I get in the second half we were down and I mean, maybe that's, that leads to it, obviously. Can't come out running the ball like you're down in the second half. We threw it a bunch tonight. But I did think the offensive line showed me a little bit. I thought Carson Beck played his worst game and still had moments that were, he was the reason we were back in the game.
Yep.
I thought Arian Smith made some unforgivable drops in this game. The one in the first drive in particular. But he played really hard. On the touchdown run that I just mentioned from ETN, you know who was in front of him driving a linebacker back into the end zone? It wasn't an offensive tackle. It was Arian Smith in there, right in the middle of it, driving people back in the run game. Arian Smith, he overall played a really good game. I thought Dylan Bell played a really good game.
Yes, he did.
All of it in the second half, 100% of it in the second half. I thought Lawson Lucky played a really good game. I thought Colby Young should have fought for that ball in the end zone at the end. I would have loved to have seen that. On the whole, played a really good game. You said you mentioned Carson Beck. What, 5 for 5? Georgia was 5 for 5 on fourth down conversions.
6. Yeah, by the time the fourth quarter, 6 for 6.
A lot of that was Colby Young. Colby Young, I thought, played a really good game. Here's my question about this Georgia offense, Clint.
Okay.
Because I feel confused. I don't know. I had a plan for this episode. You understand?
Like I know.
Now I don't know what to say. You tell me, Clint.
Okay.
And we'll, for the sake of this conversation, we're just going to take Carson Beck out of it.
Please do.
I personally would leave him in this conversation, and my point would still stand. But I for the sake of this conversation, we'll just take him out. You tell me, who is it on our offense that's better than pretty good?
I said this, so I retract a statement I made. I said, well, no. I still stand by my statement, but maybe I've quieted a bit on it. There's one guy, Daniel, who is exceptional. That's
exceptional?
Etienne is exceptional. No,
I'm sorry, Clint. He's not exceptional.
He's exceptional. You're crazy. The flow of this game that was happening in this game.
I don't know.
He's exceptional. You're compromised. You're emotionally compromised.
That's not accurate. Look around college football and find some running backs that are exceptional, and and you'll see what I will grant you. He's better than pretty good. He's my pick for the one player on this offense that's better than pretty good. I think Etienne is, if the scale goes pretty good, good, quite good, very good, I think Etienne is quite good. I think he's a little short of very good, but I think he's quite good. And I think he's literally the only player on offense that's better than pretty good. Now, Georgia doesn't have hardly anybody that's worse than good. But they ain't got nobody that's a difference maker on this offensive unit. There's nobody. Like, we spent all offseason talking about how Brock Bowers, it's overrated. Lad McConkey, it's overrated. It's overrated. Is it time to have a conversation?
Turns out we miss Brock.
Because you saw today, Georgia fans, what a difference maker at wideout looks like, and we ain't got one.
We ain't got a Williams. Nowhere near the stratosphere.
And credit to Dylan Bell for the second half that he played.
Yeah.
Because he was awesome.
Yeah.
But that dude's he's just a dude. This team is full of Jags, Clint. Like, it's just a guy. There's just a guy out there. Like, there's nothing. I don't want to think this about the offense.
Okay.
And I think the ceiling for this offense is in the scheme and in the plurality of weapons. I still think this offense as a unit can be, and we saw it tonight, can be explosive, and efficient, and really good.
I agree.
So the sum of the parts greater than the parts, right? But I would like some dudes. And I just don't think we have any.
It'd be great if we just had some dudes. Like, it would just be great.
Is that a lot to ask? Is that
if we could just huck it up to some guy and be like, well, I think he'll come down with it, or it'll bounce a certain way,
or he'll volleyball it for 10 minutes and then come down with it.
This is what I mean. It would be great if we had that. We don't have any of those guys. And that is a bummer.
Well, the best safety in college football watches.
He's emotionally compromised, Daniel. He'll come around. Don't worry. Actually,
I won't. But thank you for assuming that I might. He's Clint. I'm Daniel. We're the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. Alabama fans, we have loved having you. You're welcome anytime.
Anytime. Come on.
Georgia fans will be back on Monday all week. Georgia, thank God, does not have another off week. And so we get to get back out there, fix some things, get back on the practice field. Now with a loss on the schedule. So that'll be something new to deal with in the regular season. And we'll see how this Georgia team responds. We'll be back all week next week talking about it here on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, your team every day. And we will see you guys then.
See you.